Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today, I'm here with my good buddy Billy Bohab.
What's going on?
And we're going to be reviewing the Tatsu figure from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie by NECA. Now, this is donated to us by Billy. So, Bill, what makes you want to have this figure?
The guy who played Tatsu did not want a figure made of himself. So, this is kind of really awesome that they finally made the action figure of him.
So, you're really excited about this figure?
Absolutely.
And I'm just excited doing the review on him because I'm a huge fan of the original movie. I grew up with it. I remember when it came out in theaters. So, you know, this is going to be a really good review. We're both excited about this. So, first off, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed. You're very much appreciated. And for all of you who watch this video who hasn't subscribed and you do like the video, go ahead and subscribe and check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playlist. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. So here we have him in packaging. I love the packaging for this. I like this red and black look with him in the middle. I think that looks very stylish. And if you can see kind of in the background, you can also see the foot soldiers behind him. So you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, his name. Right, you open up the box here. All right, on the front here, you have this open window. You can see him, all his accessories. Swinging around this way, you get this nice picture of the figure. I really do like that. Close it up. On this side, let's go like this. You have his name. Spinning around to the back. There we go. Got some cool pictures of him in his different looks, as well as him with Shredder, which is really nice. I do like that. Spinning around here. You got another nice picture of him, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. On the top here, you have his name. And then underneath, you have some legal and your SKU. So with all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. All right, so here he is out of packaging. I love the overall look to him. He looks really good. I like the cloth clothing. That's really nice. It adds an extra flair of realism and detail to him. So let's get into the rotation. So first you have this side here. All right. Now it's hard to see. I hope the camera catches it. But he does have an Asian symbol here, a character right there on his sleeve, which is really nice. All right, you bring it around this way. You can see like another Asian symbol as well. It's a character on top of a block there, so that's really nice as well. Spin them around here. Now, with the back too, I just want to emphasize this, that the pants do come off. So if you want the pants off, they do come off. We're probably not going to take them off for this video because I don't see much need to have them off, because even in the movie, there was never anything that really indicated that he had another outfit. So I don't see the point in it. And then on this side, and then back around to the front. Like I said, I like some of the detailing in here. That's pretty nice. Tilt them that way so you can see those a little bit better. The head sculpt looks really good. I think it really does capture the look of the actor. I have no issues with the head sculpt. So now let's start getting into his points of articulation. So first off, the head does move very angrily. You have a shoulder joint with a swivel. Well, usually there's a swivel. There it goes. Okay, let's pull this sleeve back. All right. You have an elbow joint and you have a wrist joint. All right, get this other arm up. Now there's usually a joint underneath the ribs, but you do get movement there. No issues. The hip joint, there's usually one there. I don't feel anything in there, so he might not have that joint. Spin him around here. So you do have a thigh joint, really tight. Let's lift this leg pan up. All right, so there is a thigh joint in there. It's kind of tight. You may want to use some hot water on that. There is a swivel as well. All right. Back to your knees, which move pretty easily. You should have a swivel at the top of the boot usually. I don't think this particular figure does. All right. And then you also have an ankle joint. So other than his thigh, everything kind of works really well. There is a little bit of stiffness, but nothing that can't be fixed with some hot water. All right, so now let's start looking at all his different accessories. So first off, he has an alternate head. That's the angry yelling head. You know, students make you mad. All right, he has a couple different hands. So he has two open hands. So he has this one here. He has this one here. He has three holding hands. So he has this hand here. All right. This one here. All right. And then he has this alternate one. I'm wondering if one of these alternate hands is for the he does come with a fan, so it might work better with that, but we'll look into that more as we try to hook his accessories up with them. Speaking of the fan, there it is. Really nice. The other side is blank. Now, this is kind of a brittle material, you know, so you may want to be careful with it. It's like really, really solid. All right. The same with, he has a closed version of the fan as well. All right. He comes with a mask that he took off of one of his students because he didn't do a good job. If you remember that scene from the movie, after I believe they lost their first fight with the Turtles. All right. So he probably can hold that as well. He has his Japanese demon mask, which is really nice. We're going to try that on him. All right. He has a sword and scabbard with a tie on. All right. There's the sword outside of the scabbard, which looks really nice. Slides right in. No issues. And last but not least, he has a kendo stick. All right. Or as some of us just knows it as a practice sword. All right. So now that we looked at everything, let's see how well some of this works. So first, let's start with the mask. All right, because this looks to be the easiest one to get on him. All right, so the mask fits on nice. No issues. All right. Let's swap out some of these hands. So let's see how well these hands swap out. All right, that came off pretty easily. No issues. All right. Now, do this. Got a hand in this side. All right. Now the sword, the scabbard, ties onto here. So you would just have to tie that on there with no issues. I'm not going to tie it on there because it'll probably take more time to do it. You know, you just take the strings, wrap it around, and tie it on. So like I said, I'm not going to tie it on here just for time purposes. But that is how it will connect onto him. Now the sword is a little brittle too. So I'm going to be gentle with getting that in there. All right. So it does fit in there. No issues. Now, because it's a katana blade, you know, and it has a longer handle, we do always like to do the two-handed hold. See if it would work. All right. Trying to get those arms to line up. All right. So yes, he can do a two-handed hold with this. So if you want him to have two hands on his sword, you need to. And now most people who know anything about katana swords, you don't need a whole lot of hand on the rear of it. You just have to get, usually it's, I think it's like 2 fingers is supposed to be the max. I'm not 100% sure, but I know you do hold it close to the bottom. So that sword fits in his hand very easily. No issues with that. All right, let's get this one out. All right. Next would be the kendo stick. All right. That fits in one hand very easily. No issues. And of course, like the katana, you also need to have your two-handed hold. All right. Now his shoulders, you don't want to. There we go. They don't want to get too close. So that's about as far as your shoulders are going to come in. But as you can see, you can still get that two-handed hold on him. So that's not an issue. All right, so remove the kendo stick. All right, next up, you got this mask here. It looks like, if you look at the mask here, got this old dividend here. So that might be what makes him be able to hold this. All right. Yeah. So that fits in his hand very nicely. No issues with that. All right. Here, let's put the closed. Oops, that just slides right through there. Yeah, okay, so you're going to have a hard time having him hold this closed. I don't think it's really meant to be like that. I think that's actually something that, like, for display in his belt. Usually they walk around with it, like, displayed in the front of their belt like this. Okay. So I think that was more designed to just fit in his belt here, not really to be held. All right, we're going to swap out this hand here and try this other holding hand. Wait, is it? No. It goes in this hand. My apologies. All right. So that goes in there. I don't know. Trying to figure out. Yeah, his hands are pretty stiff. I can move these fingers just a little bit. Yeah, I can get some movement in there. Okay. So if you do want to have him hold the fan, he will hold it. You got to move the fingers a little bit, but they don't move that horribly. So I don't have any issues with moving any fingers. All right, get that off of there. All right, let's swap out some of these other hands. All right. So that hand fits in there pretty well. I have no issues with how his hands swap out. Next is the head. All right. His head is giving me a little bit of a trouble. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to the hot water. We're going to soak him in some hot water just to make sure that. So now we're going to soak his heads in the hot water. All right. I don't want to get too much on his you know, suit here. All right. And you don't usually have to let it soak long, just for like a couple seconds. Now, as you see, the head, a little bit of water pops out pretty easily. Hot. And boom. That one goes on pretty well. So everything swapped out really good. Even the heads, once you add a little bit of hot water to them. All right, so my final thoughts on this figure is I do like him. He would be a great addition to go with the rest of your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie figures. So all his joints move very well. I believe the shoulders were a little stiff and maybe the thigh, but that's all stuff that you could correct with, heat. So I'm not super worried about any of that. All his accessories fit very well with him. I didn't have any issues with the accessories. Like I said, with the sword, I didn't tie the sword on because, it's not a major inconvenience. And it just take a whole lot of time of me trying to tie that on. That is something that anybody can simply do on their own. So that's not a here or there type thing with him. His hands swapped out very easily. I had no issues swapping out any of the hands. And the head swapped out pretty well once you use some hot water. And to be honest with you, that's pretty much standard with most of your NECA figures, is that heads 9 out of 10 times you'll have to use hot water to swap it. So that's not a big deal with me as well. So overall, I do recommend this figure. I think he really does capture the look of the original actor from the movie. What's your thoughts on him, Bill?
He definitely looks like the actor who played him, and I honestly can't wait to get home and display him with the rest of my movie figures. I think it's going to look amazing. I've been wanting. I was going to get a custom made from our friend Jason Todd, but now I don't have to.
So there you go, Jason. You just lost out on that one. So with that being said, we both recommend this figure. We both think that he would be a good addition to your collection. So with that being said, I hope you all did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. All small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.